The Committee on Higher Education will come to order. Thanks, Senator Kufik. First up, we're going to have our presentation on the North Star Promise to set the conversation for the next two bills that will be coming up. We'll have a presentation from OHE. We have Ms. Carrie Schneider and Tara Winchester, who are both here from OHE. Please come up. Welcome. Please introduce yourselves for the record, and you may begin your presentation.
Chair, members, for the record, my name is Tara Winchester, and I am the North Star Promise Program Administrator at the Office of Higher Education.
My name is Carrie Schneider, and I'm the Research Director at the Office of Higher Education. Can you see the slides on the TVs?
One moment, please. We're going to work on that. It just disappeared.
Yep.
We're back up. Thank you so much.
As was mentioned, we are here as OHE was asked to provide background and summary information on the North Star Promise program, including how the program has been going so far. And so we'll get started with an overview of North Star Promise. So North Star Promise consists of two types of awards: the North Star Promise, or what we refer to as the base award, and then also the North Star Promise Plus. The North Star Promise program was established by state legislation and originally passed during the 2023 legislative session. And the first awards for North Star Promise were awarded to students in the fall of 2024. In its first year of operation, fiscal year 2025, the appropriation for North Star Promise program was $112.86 million. But the ongoing appropriation for NSP starting in FY26 is $49.5 million per year. So the North Star Promise base is what we refer to as a last dollar award, and it's designed to cover any remaining balance of eligible tuition and mandatory fees after other scholarships, grants, stipends, tuition waivers all have been applied to the student's account. It's available to eligible students attending a Minnesota public higher education institution or tribal college. To be eligible, students must meet eligibility criteria, including having a family income below an 80,000 AGI. They must be enrolled in taking at least one credit per term, have not already earned a bachelor's degree, and enrolled in a program or course of study leading to a degree, diploma, or certificate. North Star Promise awards are available in fall, spring, and summer terms. The North Star Promise Plus program award is available to students who are receiving federal Pell Grants, and the award amount of the NSP Plus is equivalent to a % of the Pell Grant that the student is calculated to receive. For reference, Pell Grants are federal grants based on household size, family AGI, and or the Student Aid Index. The % of the Pell Grant match for NSP Plus is determined annually by OHE as funds allow. So in FY25, the North Star Promise Plus was available and awards were calculated at 15% of the student's Pell Grant award. The NSP Plus match for FY26 is now set at 0% based on projected spending for North Star Promise, and we estimate that the match will also be set at 0% for FY27, which is the last year that NSP Plus is available in statute.
All right. The table on this slide provides an overview of the North Star Promise program appropriation, number of recipients, and the total amount awarded to recipients for fiscal year 25, which is complete, and for fiscal year 26, which is preliminary data as of April 6, 2026. In fiscal year 25, base North Star Promise awards made up the majority of the total amount awarded, with $70.742 million awarded for NSP base and $38.012 million awarded for NSP Plus. In total, 61,024 students received either an NSP base and/or NSP Plus award in fiscal year '25, and $108.754 million was awarded. For fiscal year '26, as Tara mentioned, NSP Plus awards were set to 0% of Pell Awards, and spending for NSP Plus awards is $0. As of April 6, 2026, 17,550 students received a base NSP award in fiscal year '26, and the total amount awarded is $40.069 million so far. The table on this slide provides an overview of NSP base and NSP Plus recipients and total amounts awarded to students by eligible post-secondary institution sectors in fiscal year 2025, the first year of the program. The majority of NSP base and NSP Plus recipients attended Minnesota State colleges, followed by Minnesota State universities, the U of M, and tribal colleges. It's important to keep in mind that because NSP is a last dollar program, a student could be eligible for NSP base, but not be a recipient of NSP base because the total of their tuition and fees were covered by other types of aid applied prior to North Star Promise, such as other scholarships, grants, stipends, and tuition waivers. The average award amount is lowest at tribal colleges and Minnesota State colleges, and highest at the U of M and Minnesota State universities. And again, some of this is due to the last dollar nature of the program, combined with the economic profile of students who attend each type of institution, the enrollment intensity of the students who attend each type of institution, and the tuition and fees at each type of institution. The chart on this slide provides information about students who received NSP and/or NSP Plus awards in fiscal year 2025, broken out by student race and ethnicity, student sex, and student family income. As you can see, about 2 in 5 NSP or NSP Plus recipients were white, a quarter were Black or African American, and the remaining quarter were Asian, Hispanic, or Latino, 2 or more races, or the data was unavailable. A larger portion of NSP or NSP Plus recipients were female. And while it's not shown in the chart, the average age of NSP or NSP Plus recipients is 26 years old. About 2 in 5 NSP or NSP Plus students have a family income of $25,000 or less. 1/3 have an income more than $25,000 up to $50,000, and 1/4 have a student family income above $50,000 up to $79,999. Data on the persistence rates, completion rates, average cumulative debt, and time to degree completion of NSP recipients is not available at this time. Some of that has to do with how we, the definition that we're using for persistence and completion, and the timing of when OHE receives enrollment and completion data from the institutions. I can provide more details on the exact dates if you want those, but we will be able to report on that in February of 2027 in the Consolidated Financial Aid Report. We have that available on OHE's website already. It's just that the student outcomes data is not available for this program at this time. And that concludes our presentation.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Are there any questions from committee members, questions or comments? I just want to say thank you both so much for coming and providing this information for us. So one of the things that is still staggering to me is that there is so much unmet need that we can be doing so much more as a state. Looking at just the sheer number of recipients for the North Star Promise Plus on one of the pages, it shows that in fiscal year 2025, there was 52,800 recipients. And that shows you that outside of just tuition, the amount of help that they need for transportation and childcare and food and all that stuff. And I wanted to put it in the context of the conversations also we're having around the state grant, because obviously they're related to one another, and with the shortfalls we're seeing with the state grant and how much it'll impact and harm our students. And my goal has always been to ration as little as possible and provide as much support as possible. We've seen the increase in enrollment as a result of that, but it hurts to see us going from 52,000 to 0. And that's not through your fault of your own, it's by us as a state to provide the funding and support needed, but the need is definitely way out there. And before I conclude, is there anyone, one last chance to have any questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you so much for your presentation. Next up, we have Senate File 4692, Senator Oumou Verbeten. Welcome, and you may begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's helpful to begin the conversation today with an overview of the North Star Promise program. Very proud of the work that we did in that session to create that program under your leadership, so thank you. And we're hearing this bill today, which is kind of an aspirational bill that would look at ways to expand the North Star Promise. So Senate File 4692 specifically would expand North Star Promise by removing the $80,000 adjusted gross income cap for students attending a 2-year community or technical college in the Minnesota State Colleges and University System or a tribal college. What that means is it would give all Minnesotans the ability to attend a 2-year institution to obtain that associate's degree for free. And this bill currently has blank appropriations there. Obviously, we don't have a target yet for committee, and really I think this is an opportunity to kind of start the conversation, as I said, about long-term goals and the direction we want to take higher education policy. Here's why I think this is really good policy. We know that rising costs have made college unaffordable for too many Minnesotans. Looking at the Office of Higher Education's 2025 Educating for the Future report, which was on our statewide attainment goals, it specifically suggests that we invest in inclusive strategies to expand access, support completion, and close racial gaps, and that achieving this vision will not only fulfill a legislative mandate, right, to reach that statewide educational attainment goal, but will also strengthen our state's workforce, our economy, and our future. I do hope that we will adopt the new educational attainment goal that was brought forward by the Minnesota P20, which would set a goal for 2040 for 75% of Minnesotans between the ages of 24 and 55 to hold a post-secondary credential. I think that's a really bold and necessary target, just like the previous attainment goal was, which we didn't meet, but we are within reach. And I think it's important to share that we're not going to reach those goals that we have by just supporting the students who are already planning to go to college. If we're going to move the needle, we really do need to reach the thousands of Minnesotans where the choice isn't which college, it's actually, am I going to college at all or not? And that's the work that we started to do with North Star Promise that actually made that obtainable for so many. So this bill would remove the financial barrier that puts college out of reach for, again, a large group of Minnesotans. I think it's important to think about these students and families as kind of representing this forgotten middle where you have folks who earn maybe just enough to not be eligible for federal Pell Grants, but they don't earn nearly enough to afford the full cost of tuition. And so for those students, the current system really offers one path, and that's taking out a mountain of student loan debt. And it's it's a burden, of course, but it also is a deterrent. And I think it's the reason why so many of our brightest young minds out there are really sitting on the sidelines of our economy, and they're not in the classrooms where we want them to be. So by expanding the North Star Promise to cover every 2-year public and tribal college, we would begin to address that gap and make college a reality for so many more Minnesotans. Lastly, I would just say we don't have to guess if this will work. We have a lot of evidence from the Tennessee Promise, which I know we talked about when we created the North Star Promise, but this bill really does mirror what they've done in Tennessee, and they've made that investment for their students to go to your institutions, to your public institutions for free. So since its launch, Tennessee's college-going rate saw a jump of nearly 5 percentage points. It was much bigger growth than like the last 10 years before they developed the program. They are also seeing that Tennessee Promise students are outperforming their peers in persistence and completion. And the program has produced over 50,000 graduates in its first decade, with participants earning degrees at more than triple the rate of those who didn't have the program's support. So it's also a last dollar program model we have here. I think those are really important because it just like simplifies the message for our public that, currently, and certainly before North Star Promise, it's like this complex kind of web of financial aid and loans and interest rates that our students have to navigate. But when we tell them, like, you are eligible for this program and for this promise, and you're not going to have to go into debt, your tuition is covered, it's really powerful. And we can tell Minnesotans that if you show up and you do the work at a state or tribal college, your tuition is covered, just like period. That's really, really helpful. I know it's been helpful for our institutions as well as they've been recruiting students. So I will end there. And I know we have some testifiers, so I'm looking forward to hearing from students and faculty who can talk about the impact this bill would have.
Thank you so much, Senator Oumou Verbeten. Before we go to testifiers, are there any other questions from members? Seeing none, our first testifier is going to be Mark Grant. Welcome. Or welcome back. Please introduce yourself for the record, and you may begin.
Thank you, Chair Fateh. Committee members, it's nice to be back in front of you and speaking in support of Senate File 4692. For the record, my name is Mark Grant. I'm a faculty member at Dakota County Technical College, and I also assist in the governmental relations work on behalf of Minnesota State College faculty. It probably comes as a surprise to absolutely no one that the two-year faculty would be in favor of this bill, and we'd like to thank Senator Oumou Verbeten for bringing it forward. And even though it's aspirational, I do want to take a minute and detail why we think this bill is needed at this time. There's a lot of pressures in higher ed, in the higher ed landscape right now, and this bill would really has the ability to alleviate a lot of those pressures. It can take the pressure off our workforce shortage. Minnesota currently ranks #1 in the projected need for post-secondary degrees, with approximately 74% of all Minnesota jobs requiring some form of post-secondary education by 2031. Shortages in the healthcare fields, patient care, manufacturing, technology, and construction are all projected, and those all also happen to be programs that exist on our two-year campuses. We think the days of not everybody needs college are kind of numbered, and the two-year campuses is where we're going to accommodate that transition. It takes the pressure off of the student and the decision as to whether or not to go to college. The North Star Promise has shown us that if you make college more accessible to students, they will come, with Minnesota State experiencing its third consecutive year of enrollment growth in the fall of 25-26, with two-year institutions driving that increase at 5.1% growth. It can take the pressure off of student debt. As you well know, we have two streams of revenue, state appropriation and tuition. We don't do local levies and we don't do bake sales. As the state appropriation has failed to meet the 2/3 statutory threshold in the past 2 decades, we've seen tuition steadily climb. Now we have just under half of our two-year students graduating with a student loan debt load averaging around $12,000. It could even take the pressure off the current dual enrollment landscape, pressure brought on by a fundamental mission shift of PSEO over the past several years. When I started teaching 27 years ago, PSEO was reserved for high-achieving, highly motivated students who needed offerings or an additional challenge that simply wasn't available at their high school campus. Now, however, despite the fact that I do still have highly motivated PSEO students, the driving factor in PSEO participation is budgetary, to get as many college credits as possible for free to offset the cost of tuition. But if those credits are there, free, waiting for them, surveys suggest that many high school students would prefer to just stay at their high school campus and just be high school students. This bill really does represent an investment in the system, the investment in our campuses, an investment in the students, and more importantly, an investment in the future of Minnesota. And we'd encourage your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Grant, for your testimony. Are there any questions for our first testifier? Seeing none, we'll go over to our second one. Thank you so much, Mark. Our next one is Abdikarim Haji. Welcome. Please introduce yourself for the record, and you may begin.
Thank you, Chair Fateh, Senator Oumou Verbeten, and members of the committee. My name is Abdikarim Haji, and I'm a student at Anoka Ramsey Community College in Coon Rapids, where I will be graduating with my associate's degree in biology in May this year. I also serve as the Region 7 representative of the Lead Men Board of Directors. I am here today to testify in support of SF 4692, removing the $80,000 family-adjusted gross income limit from North Star Promise for students attending state public two-year colleges and tribal colleges. Removing barriers to access and affordability is a foundational principle of Lead Men, and student-centered advocacy is core to acting on that principle. In my role as a student leader, I hear from my fellow students across the system about what's important to them and what challenges they face day to day. In fact, every fall, we gather in person to talk about the real-life impacts of higher education policy and set our advocacy priorities. And every conversation, it's the same thing. It's North Star Promise, North Star Promise, North Star Promise. Students share what a difference it's made for them. They share anxieties that it might be cut or eliminated, and usually we end up talking about what ifs and hows. What if more students at our schools were eligible, and how can the North Star Promise be improved to support access to post-secondary education? You all know the impact of North Star Promise by the numbers, how many two-year students have benefited and how the exponential growth shows that this body's promise is doing what it's intended, giving students an opportunity to pursue higher education, supporting our state's goal of 70% post-secondary degree or certificate attainment, and investing in the sustained health of our economy and workforce. I'll leave the exact numbers to other people, but what I hope you'll understand from those numbers are the stories behind them when you're reading through. This is my story. I'm the oldest of 8 kids in my family. I'm a first-generation college student from immigrants. As I neared the end of high school, I thought I'd just go to college. I envisioned myself at a 4-year university like in the movies or on TV. But I didn't understand that you don't just go. I didn't know how to actually apply or find a fit for the program that I wanted to do. So when I applied to the University of Minnesota, I didn't get in. That led to my first attempt at trying to apply to community college, and that was a fail too. I somehow ended up accidentally applying to the wrong one. For me, as a first-gen student, there wasn't a roadmap for me to follow. When I finally started at the right school, that being Anoka Ramsey Community College, I still didn't really know what to do between unexpected, heavy, caretaking responsibilities that were thrust upon me on my first semester, responsibilities that often kept me out of class, along with difficulties managing and adjusting to college with learning disabilities. I ended up with a GPA of 0. Yeah, imagine looking at your transcript and seeing a GPA of 0. Did you know that was possible? Every time I tell everyone, I couldn't have imagined. Today, I sit in front of you as an elected leader in our statewide student organization with a 3.1 GPA, hopefully higher after I crush these final classes at the end of the semester. Ready to graduate and transfer into the pursuit of my next degree with the ultimate goal of practicing emergency medicine. At the very least, now you know that you can get past a GPA of 0. However, I also want you to know that all of this is possible because of my 2-year college, where my being of a
first-generation immigrant caregiving student with a learning disability was not disqualifying. I was met where I was and provided access to more. I had the space and support to get here, and I have received a high-quality education that gives me the confidence to know that here is a marker on an ongoing journey. I believe public two-year state colleges are the backbones of higher education in Minnesota. 48 campuses across every part of the state that meet students where they are and support persistence and success, whether towards a degree and workforce readiness in high-demand fields like healthcare, law enforcement, and skilled trades, or as an accessible step towards advanced degrees. In a legislative climate where budget cuts loom at every level, from system to state to federal, I understand that sometimes advocacy is fighting to maintain or not lose ground. But it also needs to be the hopeful and determined work of sharing our personal and collective stories to advocate for more. We are grateful for North Star Promise and will show up every time to advocate against cuts to funding and eligibility. But SF 4692 is more. And I ask that you vote for this investment in more support for our backbone public state two-year community and technical colleges, more access for more students like the ones I'm privileged to represent through Lead MN, and students like my younger siblings who I can now help through the college application process so that we can ultimately give back more to Minnesota. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, Mr. Haji. Are there any questions for our testifier? Thank you so much for sharing your story and providing that and your support. It really means a lot, and it shows how much we've accomplished, but how much more we need to do. And so thank you for making a difference also. Before we go to the underlying bill, are there any questions for Senator Oumou Verbeten on the final? Oh, Senator Utke.
Mr. Chair, thank you. And this may even be more for you. As I look at this bill and the next bill, which have sizable funding numbers attached to them with the fiscal note, what is the plan for them?
Well, thank you so much for the question, Senator Utke. These are more aspirational bills. We wanted to have that conversation about what the North Star Promise has meant, what work we can do as a community and as a state to benefit our students and our state, and these are just to have information out there for the conversation.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Utke. Senator Kupek.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and this maybe for Senator Oumou Verbeten too. So I was curious, like, what does this mean for four-year institutions if maybe we're diverting people away for two? And I sort of answered the question myself because I can Google search. But I looked at what Tennessee had done, and Tennessee had actually, their four-year schools seemed to see no decline in enrollment, while their 2 years went way up. There was a maybe slight increase in tuition at their four-year schools. But I don't know, have you or maybe somebody from the system, from Department of Higher Education, have you made any assessment, or are we just hopefully gonna think that Minnesotans are like Tennesseans?
Senator Oumou Verbeten.
Mr. Chair, Senator Kupek, looks like you went down my same kind of thinking and research, and was digging a lot into the Tennessee Promise program. And yes, I get that concern and wouldn't want there to be a negative impact on our four-year institutions, but they didn't see that there. I think that gets back to what I was discussing earlier, where these sort of programs where we're making college a reality for students, it's bringing in people who weren't going to go to college before. And that is really crucial, right? If we're trying to grow our workforce, reach our attainment goals, there's this whole category of people where it's just not possible to go to college unless we help make it possible for them and we address the cost. So I think that's what accounted for the shift. The folks that were going to go to the 4 years are going to go. And I think it's important that we continue to make investments in things like the state grant, right, which are supporting those students who have those needs, are going to college. We also want to make sure that we have a good amount of funding there so that with rationing, there isn't this huge impact on North Star Promise, which I think you were sort of alluding to, Mr. Chair, because we have this last dollar program. So if we're not adequately funding the state grant, then we're going to see a shift there in the amount of resources needed in North Star Promise. So it's on my mind. I think we're hearing a bill later today that would also address the adjusted gross income for North Star Promise, which applies to 4 years. So I think in a very ideal world, we would see this sort of policy that makes 2-year college accessible to everyone. And then we see as close to universal as we can get, right, with North Star Promise, raising that cap so that again, those people who are really stuck in this tough place where they're not eligible for Pell and a lot of other resources, they can't afford the cost of tuition. We can step in with North Star Promise and cover that cost, including for those who go to 4 years. So I think this is part of a larger package that hopefully we can consider in the future.
Thank you so much, Senator Kupek, and thank you so much, Senator Oumou Verbeten, for bringing forward this legislation. We've seen the successes of the North Star Promise as indicated by Ohu's presentation and from our students and what it means for them. You spoke about our attainment goals. I think Mark was the one who talked about by 2031, 74% of the jobs will need some form of a degree, and I think to me, that's huge. That's critical. What this would also mean by opening up the doors for everyone, not just in the urban areas, but suburban, rural, where they're a little bit more reliant maybe on the campuses being successful, people attending there, working there. I think that's critical for them as well. And if we've seen and heard about the successes of the Tennessee Promise in the socialist state of Tennessee, right, then I think that we can be okay over here as well. So thank you so much, Senator Oumou Verbeten. And with that, it will be laid over. Thank you. Next up, we have Senate File 3754, which I'll be carrying, which will be increasing the income eligibility for the North Star Promise from 80,000 to 100,000. This is something that I've had conversations with members in the other body. Representative Nathan Coulter is carrying it in the House Higher Education Committee. And this came about some of the same conversations we've had earlier. I'll forego my opening statement because a lot of it was already discussed and talked about. We saw estimates that increasing it to $100,000 would increase the number of eligible students receiving scholarships by 5,520 students. And so I wanted to open up that conversation for that. First, on our testimony, we have, first we have the A1 amendment, which would fill in the blank, which was a placeholder with the actual projected costs according to the fiscal note. And so with that, Senator Kupek moves the A1 amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The amendment is adopted. Now we have our first testifier, Nate Peterson from the U of M. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Please introduce yourself on the record, and you may begin.
Chair Fateh and members of the Senate Higher Education Committee, good afternoon, and for the record, my name is Nate Peterson, and I serve as the Executive Director of Student Finance at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Today, I'm representing the University of Minnesota system, including our Crookston, Duluth, Morris, Rochester, and Twin Cities campuses, to comment on financial aid matters related to the North Star Promise program. The University of Minnesota welcomes the proposed increase for the family adjusted gross income to $100,000 and below for eligibility in the North Star Promise program. This change would make an additional 1,323 students eligible for the University of Minnesota system using our 25-26 figures. We see this proposal as a continued investment in the success of our students and would partner with the Office of Higher Education to ensure a successful implementation. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from members? Senator Utke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, you know, as we talk about the 80 and the 100,000 limits, et cetera, do we have percentages that would tell us how many students currently that are coming to college that are under the 80. And now you did mention, I think 1,000 and some would be added between that 80 and 100. But how many are over the 100? Do we, I mean, I'm just looking for percentages. We don't need numbers as far as.
Yes, Mr. Peterson.
Thank you, Senator and Senator, for the question. I don't have that information with me today, but we are happy to follow up with you after the hearing to get that information to you.
Okay, thank you.
Senator, any other members? Seeing none, thank you so much for providing that.
Thank you.
Next up, we have William Luther. Welcome. Please introduce yourself for the record and you may begin.
Yeah, members, my name is William Luther. I'm the Director of State Affairs for the Undergraduate Student Government at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. To kind of start off, the North Star Promise has given hope to many of our students across Minnesota, especially at my campus at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Students who saw barriers to higher education were given the promise that they could work hard towards their education without having to worry about large student debt. One such student that found that promise is Ricardo from Minneapolis. When describing how impactful the North Star Promise program was to him, he said, coming into college as a first-generation college student from a low-income background, tuition was one of the biggest fears and only obstacles that gave pause to me attending graduate school. I knew the Pell Grant was a great source of funding that allowed me to feel more comfortable with attending school. And when I learned about the North Star Promise program, it solidified my belief that college was a viable choice for my family. Without it, I would have not had the opportunities and access to resources that the University of Minnesota has to offer. These programs have allowed people like me to have access to career paths that otherwise would be inaccessible and make real changes in whole families my family for generations. Ricardo's story is shared widely on our campus about how transformative the North Star Promise program really is. Every time I have a conversation with a student who is on the North Star Promise program, they tell me how impactful that program has been for them, how life-changing it has for their education. And those who don't qualify for the North Star Promise tell me, I wish I qualified. So, I mean, kind of give you the numbers here. According to the University of Minnesota's Office of Admissions net price calculator, a family that makes $100,000 a year is the top end of this bill would receive only about $800 in need-based aid from the university. It would not receive anything from the state grant program or the North Star Promise. And this would bring the students' yearly cost of attendance to about $35,000. For students who make $100,000, that income is not enough to cover the cost of attendance, which would take up 1/3 of their family's income. Senate File 3754 would bring this popular program to more students. Building off of the incredible success it had so far, this committee and the legislature has made incredible progress in advancing student access and affordability. As a state legislature, you have reined in declining enrollment in Minnesota to be a national example in reversing enrollment trends. I hear it when I talk to my fellow classmates about how these new programs have provided them with so much. This committee has a chance to push it even further and expand this widely successful program to even more students who need it. Let's continue being that North Star for college affordability in our nation. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Mr. Luther, for your testimony. Are there any questions for our testifier? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, I want to just mention that these bills are all aspirational. We don't have any money or figures yet. We don't know what's going to happen in terms of this body or the other body. But I wanted to make sure that we had these conversations because we have seen the successes of the North Star Promise. But again, this is just one piece of the puzzle. Whether we make two-year colleges universal or we increase the income eligibility for our 2- and 4-year colleges, we put a lot of pieces around that in the last biennium. That's why Senator Putnam, for example, was leading on the Ending Campus Hunger Grants. I know Senator Oumou Verbeten cared a lot about the Student Parent Initiative and things like that. We worked really hard for the mental health resources in the last biennium, putting investments into that. And so these are all pieces to the puzzle on top of also the North Star Promise Plus, which was meant to address things like transportation, childcare, and food, and all of that. And so when we talk about these conversations, this isn't just about how we tackle tuition and leave it alone, but how do we best service our students so that our doors are open for everyone and they can focus on solely being a student, and how do we help them not only come to college, but also help them complete their degree? What are some of the barriers to completing that degree? And so I wanted to make sure that that was clear. Senator Dorlan Clark.
Thank you, Senator Oumou Verbeten. Chair. Yeah, I think you summed it up well, and I would add in with the demographic cliff that we have coming, where there are fewer high school graduates coming out. We got to keep finding ways to getting more people into the system and incent them, and as you said, remove those barriers to access. So whether it's upping the cap from 80 to 100,000, making two-year colleges, and really emphasizing the trades across the state, be able to make sure that we are meeting the needs, whether it's in Rochester, Senator Nelson, or up in Park Rapids or in Minneapolis. There are many ways to do it, and we need to look at part of what Senator Oumou Verbeten was talking about of what are the goals we've set for ourselves as the state. And so I just want to add in that fact that we have fewer high school graduates coming out for the next 7-8 years. How do we make sure that we're getting a bigger percentage that we've prepped to be going into our 2- and our 4-year colleges? So thank you for the conversation, and I look forward to us keeping having it.
You're absolutely right, Senator Clark, and we've heard time and time again in this committee that when students attend a college, the state that they attend the college in, they're more likely to stay in that state. And so we want to make sure that our students are staying here. We don't want to lose our Moorhead students to North Dakota, right? And so we want to make sure that we're doing our part to make sure that our students are staying here. Are there any final questions? Senator Oumou Verbeten.
Just that comment made me think about how there's just so many great benefits to North Star Promise, and the work that we did here also inspired our neighbors to create their own programs and some of our private institutions to create their own programs. So we're changing the landscape of higher education for everyone when we really double down on having affordable institutions for Minnesotans. And I know you wanted North Star Promise to go further. I did too. And so I'm glad that we're hearing these bills today to show some of the paths that we could take to expand the program. That hard cutoff, it's very difficult for those families that are just above the adjusted gross income cap that we have. And so I think something else we could maybe look at is if we're in a position to expand how we support those people who are just kind of right on the edge of the program. I think that we've heard overwhelmingly from our students and our institutions, North Star Promise, North Star Promise. That's what we're talking about at advocacy conferences. That's what our students want. The people who are not on North Star Promise wish they could be on North Star Promise. So it's just very successful, and it is changing lives. The last thing I wanted to mention, I didn't get to say during my bill hearing, that we've learned from Tennessee is they have found the wraparound services for students are also very crucial to ensuring that they graduate and are successful in this program. And I think I would just make a plug again for how important our 2-year institutions are, our tribal institutions are for that, because they really do some of the best work on providing those wraparound services for our students. And as we're funding other parts of our budget, we should pay attention to that, because once they get there, they need the support to continue to stay enrolled and stay in school. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that, Senator Oumou Verbeten. Are there any final questions, comments? Seeing none, Senate File 3754, as amended, is now laid over. Next up, we have Senate File 3164, which is Senator Nelson. For the U of M's Health Sciences Strategic Plan implementation. I'll give it a minute to connect to online.
Thank you.
Just scoot it right here so I can.
Awesome. Welcome, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to hear Senate File 3164. I am thrilled to be here in front of this committee today. Many years ago, I was on the Higher Ed Committee, and actually it was because of my interest in higher education that I ran for my House seat many years ago. And the importance of higher ed is well known here in this group and really across our state. And today we're going to talk about the University of Minnesota Rochester. That is our state's newest university. And it is innovative in its approach. Its results have been phenomenal. And what I thought I would do immediately is turn it over to our chancellor, Dr. Lori Carroll, and as she tells you a little bit about the innovations, the innovative way that we are training the much-needed healthcare workforce in Rochester with great business and other education partners, and also in a shorter amount of time, is truly remarkable. So, Mr. Chair, if I could turn it over to Dr. Lori Carroll.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself for the record, and you may begin.
I'm Lori Carroll, Chancellor of the Rochester campus of the University of Minnesota. Chair Fateh, members, thank you for this time. Thank you for your interest in the Rochester campus of the University of Minnesota. Importantly, given this opportunity today, I want to thank you for your commitment to public service and to higher education. It was fortifying to hear you talk about the North Star Promise and also to our state. Thank you so much. And a very special thanks to Senator Nelson for her bill, supported in the House by Representative Liebling. Our campus is unique in several ways, including that to date, we have leased rather than owned our buildings, which renders us ineligible for HEAPR funding. Senator Nelson's bill recognizes this distinction and seeks to provide the necessary support for campus expansion. Saying that, we're aware of the realities of this session and grateful for this time to introduce you to our campus. The state of Minnesota is experiencing dire healthcare workforce shortages impacting the health of Minnesotans. The University of Minnesota is committed to growing the healthcare workforce, and expanding capacity on the Rochester campus is a critical component of addressing these shortages. UMR, as we call ourselves, reflects its place right in the heart of Minnesota's fastest growing city, a city dedicated to health. We are devoted to preparing health professionals for Minnesota. It's unusual to launch a new public university campus. So just a reminder of our origin story. For decades, Rochester citizen advocates worked toward a local University of Minnesota. Their collective ambition culminated with Governor Pawlenty's declaration in 2006, supported by the Minnesota legislature and the university's Board of Regents. Before the first student arrived in 2009, UMR established a unique identity within the state's higher education landscape by focusing on two pillars. First, we specialize in preparing students for high-demand health careers. And second, we apply research about learning to what we do in and out of the classroom. We are riveted on generating student success. So we had this gift of a blank canvas on which to design a new kind of campus. So we set out to be different in the way we do education too. We are innovators, educational entrepreneurs. So UMR specialized in health and dedicated to student success. From that first class of 57 trailblazing students graduating in 2013 to over 1,100 students served this past fall, we have been growing since our launch. And for Minnesota's sake, we have a vision to keep growing to 2,500 students served. What's important to remember is that every UMR student is a future health professional, engaging in rigorous academic study side by side with healthcare professionals with our partner Mayo Clinic. Students have healthcare mentors, job shadowing, and internships, all in walkable proximity to where they live and learn. Over 80% of Rochester campus students are from Minnesota, about equally split between rural and metro hometowns. Over 2/3 of our students are from backgrounds historically underrepresented in higher education, including first-generation students, low-income students, and students of color. Over 2/3. In fact, in fall of this last year, we were majority BIPOC students. From the beginning, we've been innovators, structuring efficient career pathways for the deep learning that leads to a wide array of healthcare careers. Physicians, physician assistants, nurses, dentists, vets, yes, but also sonographers, respiratory care specialists, mental health practitioners, addiction recovery specialists, surgical first assistants, healthcare researchers, public health specialists, health technologists, the list goes on and on. We've had the opportunity to shape academic programs with employer partners, tailoring the pathways for just-in-time workforce needs. Along the way, we follow 3 principles. Students are at the center, research informs practice, and partners make it possible. The greatest joy of this work is seeing our students succeed. In multiple years, we have had no achievement gap, with students graduating on time at the same rate, regardless of their family income or history or funding of their high school or any other demographic variable. Our pre-med students have a 68% acceptance rate into medical school. That's higher than most across the country. Other points of pride, we've been nationally recognized as an opportunity university. This is a distinction held by only 15% of US institutions. This national recognition is based on 2 factors. First, access with students from underrepresented backgrounds, including low income. And second, this is important, economic mobility, with graduates earning above average salaries, that is greater than 50% above the regional median. UMR graduates make a living, and they make a difference in Minnesota communities. So we're an opportunity university. Another point of pride is our Degree in 3 program. Our faculty designed a prototype of a 3-year baccalaureate degree that includes evidence-based practice. We have a flexible list of programs. You have them on your handout called Get Forward Faster. This lowers costs, accelerating the time to graduation and getting health professionals out to serve their communities more quickly, while assuring through evidence-based practice that we have deep learning, well-being, and sense of belonging, all critical variables that are key to timely completion. Last year, over 30% of UMR graduates completed their undergraduate degree in 3 years rather than 4. We were called to Congress to testify about this degree design, and there is now a nonprofit with 78 campuses across the country in all accreditation regions, designing, launching, and testing lower cost, better outcome 3-year degree designs. And it all started at the University of Minnesota, Rochester. In 2025, UMR's economic impact reached $89.9 million. We started at, 0. So we're making good progress. Beyond the data, I hear a lot about how our students add vibrancy to a downtown full of patients and healthcare professionals by living, learning, working, and volunteering. So on to facilities. To grow our capacity, we must grow our facilities. In the beginning, we started by leasing a remodeled food court and 1 floor of a hotel. With a commitment to do things differently, UMR has expanded through partnership and long-term leasing. Supported in part by city sales tax revenue, the campus has acquired land and developed state-of-the-art learning environments. We transformed a DoubleTree hotel into student housing, and we have achieved our first target of 1,000 students. We're over that now at capacity and needing to expand facilities to expand enrollment. In the future, as we weigh public-private partnership against ownership, keeping students in the center means keeping our eyes on the associated cost. At capacity now, with temporary space to accommodate the incoming fall class and a plan for facilities expansion to make it possible to increase the number of healthcare graduates ready to serve Minnesota. So I'd like to share the transformative facilities vision that was recently shared with our Board of Regents and which this bill would support. We're currently also working with partners, including Destination Medical Center and the City of Rochester, to help bring this initial phase of the plan to life. So our three-part vision for a Rochester campus footprint that includes capacity for bolder enrollment growth includes additional lab classroom space, an academic building that will be the heart of our campus, and a student residential and recreation district. So first, and this is a key proposal, so let's go back to it. Leasing and building out additional lab classroom space. This is absolutely necessary for our STEM-focused academic programs. This initial phase will consolidate and expand lab facilities, augmenting our existing long-term leases in Discovery Square. If you haven't been to Rochester lately, Discovery Square is a biotech hub. It's home to Epic, Philips, Nucleus, Exact Sciences, and soon BioLabs, which is a multinational organization that provides space for startups in the life sciences to refine their ideas. We seek to be side by side with BioLab's new spaces for a partnership that expands student learning opportunities, contributing to Minnesota's biotech success with MedTech 3.0 and Medical Alley partners. We're hoping to secure funding and to have that facility open in fall of 2027. The proposed expansion will be anchored by a new academic building intended to be the campus centerpiece. This facility is needed to accommodate the enrollment growth. It will be home to expanded enrollment for our students, and it will also model sustainable building practices, and it will advance the university's core commitment to transforming the future of learning through research-based educational innovation, remembering all of that is to generate student success. That is our reason for being. This new facility is envisioned to include 4 primary elements. So I'll just dive a little deeper on each of them. First, future-forward learning environment. So this academic building will be home to state-of-the-art active learning classrooms. They'll leverage the university's new AI hub and our established commitment to exemplary teaching to generate deep learning. Second, the building will include an academic house. This is a centralized, dedicated space that co-locates faculty from all disciplines and student success coaches. These are 2 elements of UMR's different on purpose design that support student success. The new academic building is also being imagined to feature a large-scale gathering space. We need this. We're spread across 7 buildings, all mixed use. And we need to continue to generate sense of belonging for our students. We also envision this academic building as the home to the University of Minnesota's one-of-a-kind collaborative for learning, innovation, and research. This new space will serve as the university's primary hub for discovering and disseminating actionable practices to other educators, directly advancing the university's strategic imperative to transform the future of learning, which means supporting student success for more learners across Minnesota and beyond. You can also expect that this bolder vision fully embraces the university's aspiration to use sustainable building practices that support student well-being and help achieve climate action goals. These are aspirations shared by DMC, Destination Medical Center, and the City of Rochester. So if investment emerges, we will first expand lab classrooms in Discovery Square. Then we'll move on to create an academic building focused on student success. And the final part of this three-part vision for facilities expansion in Rochester will be a student residential and recreation district to be advanced through a public-private partnership project near Soldiers Field, just a block from Discovery Square. This development will ensure student housing that reflects UMR's evidence-based emphasis on community with living learning communities for all first-year students and on well-being, further supporting student success. The project will also fill gaps in recreation access, including a much-needed gymnasium, complemented by adjacency to the diverse outdoor activities available at Soldiers Field. What matters most is what will happen in these new facilities. Students with a passion to make a difference in the world through careers in health will learn deeply, feel a strong sense of belonging, and be well as they move in the direction of their dreams, emerging from their education to serve Minnesota communities as health professionals. For the past decade, the University of Minnesota Rochester has successfully forged a unique community campus culture. With support from the City of Rochester, our campus is fully integrated within Rochester's downtown core. The strategic location of our campus community allows our students to be deeply immersed in an extraordinary place that helps them move in the direction of their dreams. The University of Minnesota Rochester is ripe with opportunity. We are poised to dramatically address surging workforce demand, especially around rural health and healthcare, to continue to grow and strengthen our economic impact, to continue to drive student success through evidence-based practice, and to be a vital force that turns learning into action, outcomes, and values. I want to thank you for your interest in our campus and turn it back to Senator Nelson before we welcome your questions and comments.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Committee. I just want to thank you for the time. I know you have very condensed, crunched schedules, but I just did a fabulous job, Chancellor, but I would just like to leave you with a couple things before we get to any questions. One, I mean, just think about that, an opportunity university where we have students from all walks of life, students who typically have been underserved in college, not only being prepared for high demand, high paid jobs, but having it done in 3 years. I mean, combining all of those things is an amazing feat. And, you know, it is, I think, the new way that universities can operate. I would say that Rochester is unique in many ways in that we have such strong business partnerships, community partnerships, but the internships that happen, the workforce development that happens right there at UMR with our state's largest private employer is truly amazing. And so I hope you can, I want to thank you and hope you'll consider this as you move forward when you look at investments and how can we get more Minnesotans into high-paying jobs? How can we get more Minnesotans into growing jobs? And how can we serve more Minnesotans who have not been served by higher education in the past? So again, very innovative, and we are a state of innovation. We can lead, and I would be remiss if I did not note the value of the public-private partnerships and how integral that is. So thank you for your time, and we'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any questions from members? Senator Otke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And question for the Chancellor, and the first one is 100% of the curriculum focused on healthcare at the college? And then from there, I would go into, looking at coming from 2009 to 2026, the growth. If you're looking into the crystal ball, where do you see the enrollment going and kind of peaking out your capacity there with what you've got going on in Rochester?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chair,
Chancellor.
Senator. Thank you. Yes, we do have a plan for growth. First, the curriculum is all focused on the health sciences, and we've been very creative in how we structure the core curriculum and then the pathways into the various careers later in the curriculum. So we are specialized in preparing students for health careers, 100%, yes. And in terms of our growth, we have an approved plan that includes 3 targets. I called them bold, bolder, and boldest, from 0 to 1,000. So we have surpassed that at 1,100 and more. 1,500 bolder and 2,500 boldest. So we are in partnership with many others within the University of Minnesota for clear pathways and quicker pathways into advanced study in health. And some of those students will be partnership students, but the ultimate goal is 2,500. That will take investment, and the first step is this vision for expanded facilities. To do this as affordably as possible, with partners as possible, will enable us to continue to grow the healthcare workforce by preparing them as undergraduates for whatever is needed next, depending on the career within health that they're pursuing.
Senator Utke.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Madam Chancellor. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from members? Seeing none. Any final comments, Senator Nelson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. Thank you for your time. I do hope that we can consider this as you move forward. It truly is revolutionary, and its impact is large with a small state investment, outsized impact, doing what we all want, which is having more Minnesotans employed in high-paying, good jobs, and allowing them to do so in a shorter amount of time. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Senator. And with that, Senate File 3164 is laid over. And with no further business, the committee is adjourned.